On 27th of March, Brunei made the call for death penalty by stoning as the punishment for its people who were found to be a part of the LGBT community. The capital punishment was reported to take full effect on April 3rd. According to a report by the state-sponsored homophobia, in 2019, there are currently 6 UN member states that impose the death penalty for consensual same-sex acts. They are Sudan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Nigeria, and Somalia. Consequently, the nation's call for the traditional Islamic approach sparked global backlash, with multinational companies and governments moved to cut ties and boycott the oil-rich nation. International celebrity George Clooney on March 29 initiated a boycott against the 9 hotels owned by the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, which also include the famous Beverly Hills Hotel in the United States. In response, other big international names like Elton John and talk show host Ellen DeGeneres had showed massive support towards Clooney's boycott. Clooney, who is known to have been vocal against human rights violations, wrote late March in an opinion piece for Deadline Hollywood that the government is hard to influence. However, he quotes, "You can shame the banks, the financiers, and the institutions that do business with them and choose to look the other way." The practice of homosexuality has been illegal in the state since year 1984. But it adopted a strict Islamic law code in 2014, instituting death by means of stoning, which includes adultery, sodomy, rape, and the latest being those who are a member of the LGBT community. Other capital crimes that are punishable by death in Brunei are murder and drug trafficking by hanging under the regular criminal code, which is enforced alongside the Sharia penal code. However, if we look at the news exposure of the offences in the mainstream media, LGBT has the highest coverage, peaking in April 2019. Meanwhile, drug trafficking only started to gain exposure in May. This means that the media are more interested in covering the issue of death penalty in Brunei, with focus on homosexuality, with less mention on other capital offences in the nation. Next, we look at the top issues of Sultan Brunei. Besides being heavily reported by the media on the nation's call for death penalty towards the LGBT community, there are also other events that involve the Sultan of Brunei in the past month. On April 16, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim made a visit to the Sultan of Brunei to discuss on strengthening ties between Brunei and Malaysia. In other news, the Ministry of Education of Malaysia had recently proposed a chair named after the Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, to be set up at University Technology Mara. The chair would focus on Islamic leadership studies, management, and Sharia law. With the global rise in the issue of LGBT, Brunei's move to call for punishment by stoning towards the homosexuals put the oil-rich nation in a vulnerable position. As a result, on May 5th, the Sultan of Brunei extended a moratorium on the death penalty of homosexuals following the rising global backlash. Will this move rekindle Brunei's reputation in the global stage?